What's my purpose? Why? What's the meaning of existence? Today we're digging into purpose. It's a very masculine thing, purpose. If you ask a feminine being, what's the point of life? What's the meaning of existence? We just go, love, silly. But for masculine essence people, they need something that they can actually sink their teeth into, something that you can dig into, something that you can own, claim, something you've achieved. We're just like, just exist. That's enough. You being you is enough for me to love you. But the guys are like, well, I haven't done anything. I haven't achieved anything. So I today is the personal bit, and I'm gonna keep it short because I'm getting exhausted. That thing is shaping up right there. Hello, gorgeous. I've been working on that all day long, so I promise that today is gonna be a personal experience of what's it been like being in London. Honestly, it's the exact opposite of my expectations, and I'm super happy about it. In Ibiza, it was pretty much martial law. Police are patrolling the street. Here, nobody gives a shit. And I'm personally very happy about it. Although, yes, today I had a very strange experience when I just, all of a sudden, I had this sense of responsibility that some of us are genuinely existing into parallel realities. And for those of us who are just so honestly, so viscerally are afraid of what's going on right now, and they are really going with the narrative, because it's a media stunt. It's not a pandemic. It's a media stunt. But those of us who genuinely go with the narrative, I felt like I have the responsibility not to fight, not to try to lecture them or educate them or correct them in any way. But if they are carrying a genuine sense of worry, then if I have anything in my power that I can do, I felt like all of a sudden that it's my purpose to protect them. We're going on set and someone's like, are we going to be wearing masks? I'm like, well, 90% of London are not wearing masks, so technically we don't have to. And on the other side, well, rules, regulations, we really should. It's a film, not just a hangout. It's a professional responsibility. And all of a sudden it became my job to police people about it. And I personally highly disagree with it. But then it is my professional responsibility to be there for others. And I had a very similar sense in my personal life when I came back to London, that being in a body is a choice. The difference between a template and a body is a template is a potentiality, while a body is an actual physical decision out of those endless, infinite potentialities. You might be familiar with the light body. You might know that we have a spirit body, a dark matter body, a hydroacoustic body, a luminary body, an Avias body, a plasma body. All those are just cross sections of the totality of who you are. A body in itself is just pure choice. So at some point, we have made the choice that we're going to use this body And then the why comes. Why are we here? What's the purpose? What's the meaning? And it clicked in when I came back to London. 99% of this planet are completely unaware of anything that morphogenetic physics or keylontic science is talking about. 99.9% of the population does not know how to use their bodies in a base 12 morphogenetic way that aligns with something that I personally believe in. It's not better, not worse. But if I look at my big picture purpose, why I came here at this time in history, why I chose this specific time, space, location, it's not just to hide away and just to get by, just to survive. I could have just as much stayed outside of the magnetic field of this planet and would have protected it in some other energetic ways, because we are working with off-planet beings who are doing their part and we are doing our part. And our part is to be in a body. I used to have a really big problem with time, spending time, taking time every time I needed to wait. It was just, I just wanted to horizontally expand myself instead of vertically expanding myself. So horizontally expanding myself was like I wanted to listen to an audiobook, I wanted to read something, I wanted to be busy with something, I wanted to be checking emails or just thinking about something productive. I just needed a sense of purpose. Very masculine. And for the past 2-3 days while I'm here, I realized that my purpose for now is to be here in the body form that I have and say just to breathe hydrolase. Just sit on a bus. If it takes an hour to get from A to B, then I'm just gonna sit there and breathe hydrolase. Or if I hear a crying child, which is very often, I don't know why, then my only job is to emanate a frequency that has the chance of calming somebody down. Not for me to get upset, just as upset as they are, but for me to generate a container frequency that eases someone else's pain, suffering, where I don't have to get dragged into it. I don't have to soak it up and house it and try to empathetically cleanse it through my system. My job is to stay as impartial, pure, genuine as I could be, and counterbalance energies with something pure instead of trying to meet force with counter force, because then we're just butting heads. There's really no escape out of immovable object and unstoppable force. The only way how you can ease conflict, I love this, right? The only way how you can ease conflict is to find coharmonic resonance. And for that, you have to expand your awareness. You have to open up your container. Love is not an emotion. Silly. Love is not an emotion. It's a coharmonic resonance. Love is an action. It's something that you do, how you behave, how you act, not something that you just feel. Especially what we've done to the word love and the concept of love here. It's not a pop song, it's not a romantic movie. It's the day-to-day, minute-by-minute way of your posture, how you carry yourself in this world, how you speak externally and internally, how you interact with beings, the way you project yourself, because this is the past. The only thing that can have a minuscule chance of making a difference is the present moment, because this is already decided. That's a choice already made in the past. The present happens in the body. From that source point, then you're going to generate frequencies, create energies, and project a holographic reality then in the future will become your present, which is actually the past already. The only present moment, the only eternal present moment is happening in action inside your biofield. That's how we can have potentiality instead of just pre-made, pre-scripted scenarios. That's why life can feel like or seem like that we have no choice or have no agency. Because agency doesn't happen in the exterior world. It happens in the interior, and the exterior will be reflecting what's been happening on the inside. So whatever is already happening on the outside, that happened in the past, inside, in our collective field, because it's not just solipsism. We at some point agreed on this. We are co-creating this experience. We exist in each other's templates. That's the only reason why we can communicate with each other, why we can understand each other, is because we are braided into each other's templates. The pure fact that we are all together living on the same planet means that on some level we are embedded in each other. So for the past couple of days, I'm just like, I might not, it's not, I love learning, I love studying, I love getting new information, I love horizontal expansion, but it became more important for me to stay on point, to stay on mission, and it quieted the chatter. All of a sudden, it's not my problem what's happening outside, because I knew that I was coming into a total war zone. My job here is not to get scared, not to hide, not to run away, not to shut everybody out, but to use this body for what it's capable of. Run the frequencies, feel the feelings, choose the reality that I actually want to live into, and just breathe it out into my field, so anyone who passes my field have the chance to pick up those frequencies. It's still going to be their free will choice whether they want to engage with it or not, whether they want to counteract it or not, but it's not my burden to then take on their choice. Everyone has their choice, so my choice is not to start carrying everybody else's luggage, but to provide an option, because what we're living right now is the illusion of free will. We don't have full free will. We are provided a certain specific set of choices, and within those quite limited choices, we have the warm bath of an illusion that we can actually choose. We can choose from 500 TV channels and a million food items in a supermarket, but we're not actually told that all those scripts were written by the same 5 companies worldwide, and most of the food choices are very limited because we're not actually food. That's a very long topic. Like if you actually look into how many if you actually look into how many different strains and strands of vegetables are existing out there, or plant-based food are existing out there, and the choice that we're getting is just one strain. So we're actually not even getting the choice of nourishing this body with a multitude, with a plethora of choices. We are given this, and this with the same 5-6 ingredients, and they're usually chemical ingredients. So, anywho, food is a very long-winded conversation for me. With Ultimate Desire, probably this Saturday is not going to be good for everyone, which means that we're going to either just extend it and find another day. I would love. Sunday doesn't seem like it's good for everyone either, so probably it's not going to be this weekend. I'm offering up Monday, Tuesday, whichever day. Next week is fully available. Then after that, I'm going away on a shoot. So if we can find something next week where we can get together, then you still have a couple of days to join us. All right. I've already had my talk for today. I'm feeling like I'm going on. One last thing. If you are ever in Bethnal Green, there's a coffee shop here called Fuck Coffee. And they have a sign in their window that says, no face, no service. And when I read that, I'm like, yeah, we are absolutely going to live in 2 completely different realities. Some of us will always look at what's happening as even more limitations on our free will choices. And some of us will genuinely look at this situation as we are being saved by some force out there. And I started with that I all of a sudden I had the sense of responsibility, and I stopped following. Like sometimes I'm still very interested with what's going on with the dark side and what's happening with it's not a vaccine, it's a shot, but what's happening with the whole situation. But then I'm realizing that for those, especially when I used to be in love with a person that now has completely differing views from me. And especially when you fall in love with someone that just chooses a complete different path. Or if you have friends who you might not be able to talk to anymore. Or you're just in the same living environment or work environment or in the same family with people that you categorically disagree with. It is really not our place to tell them what to think, how to be, who to be. I personally have a massive sense of responsibility to take on a more masculine role and protect them, because everyone who's giving away their free will and free choice and saying that our limited choices, when I'm told what to do and I follow, that's a very feminine stand. And their complementary opposite, their masculine, is brute force, regulations. It's my way or the highway. I have to pay a ridiculous amount of money for the government to call me every day whether I'm still isolating, which I'm not, and to do 2 tests that are completely unnecessary, but I just have to pay for it because no choice. So if for those of us who are putting themselves in this very feminine position, they can either meet a masculine force that is giving them a total ultimatum, just no free will, no free agency, or they can see a healthy masculine protective force who's not suppressing them, not manipulating and misleading and misguiding them, but just brings them back to a sense of physical, emotional safety. If it really means something to people, whether I wear a mask and I stand 2 meters away from them, I'm not going to flip out just because I personally disagree with it. If they are genuinely scared, I feel like it's more kind of me to protect them and stay quiet about why I think it's bullshit. Because we're not going to see eye to eye on this. And if I try to bulldoze them with why I'm right, then we're not just going to mentally disagree with each other. We're going to, both of us are going to feel so emotionally violated, drained. I feel that so much as well, right? That it's not worth for any parties. We talked about the victim-victimizer game. It's the 2 sides of the same coin. If we go into the game, we are both losing because there's no win-win in those situations. The game itself was not designed for win-win-win situation. It's a zero-sum game. It's a fight, it's a war. And once we start fighting, once we engage with the fight, once we start disagreeing, once we start spreading the truth and shaking our fists, we are not getting out of it. None of us are getting any happier, healthier, more connected, more well put together. We are just, all of us, we are just eroding our energies. And for me, it's just really not worth. So I made the choice to coexist in a way when I'm stepping into a masculine role that is conscious, active, very kind, very gentle, very loving. And whenever I can protect, whenever I can just by me being me can provide some solace, some peace, some safety, I would rather do that than put someone down and play a tyrant. Because we're done with that. All right, that was me for today. So I said that before, that I don't think that everyone can make either Saturday or Sunday. So probably we're gonna just organize a new day. So if you want to join us, you still can. You still have the time. Thank you for today. I do enjoy being here. London feels like it's bringing my masculine and feminine side back together again. And I was really missing it. When I love you so much. I know I say that a lot. I love you too. And when I looked at, I still have some of my stuff in a storage unit because I live in a tiny Bethnal Green place. When I looked at my stuff, first of all, I started crying. The sentence came to me that, wow, I used to have a life. And I pretty much ran away from that life, and now I'm picking it back up. And that's where you can really see what has changed, how you've become a different person. When you have a milestone or a guidepost, and you can look back and you can compare. I used to be like this. I used to be angry. I used to be scared. If you really listen to your internal speech, my internal speech was running these horrible loops. I talked about Mariah Carey before. Songs, arguments that haven't even happened, but I'm afraid of them that they're going to happen. Scenarios, relationships, just on loop running in my mind. And it genuinely makes me happier if all I have to do is just breathe Hydrolis. It's all you gotta do, babe. I did that next to the sea in the past couple of days, on my last few days, and I'm just like, okay, I'm leaving some present here for you, and then whenever I think of you, you're gonna bring me back into the same mindset as if I would be still on the beach, because time, space all exists at one. So it really makes me happy to experience myself actively as someone who's carrying herself differently. And that's purely down to the physical work that I've done. So that's what I would love to have for all of us, to actually start moving the body, actually start feeling into it, doing stuff with it that just allows you to carry yourself differently. Because then that affects your mental body, your emotional body, your whole life, everything, your relationships, every partnership that you go into, every decision that you make from then on is coming from a sense of well put together peace instead of fragmented loops. And it's a whole, that's the present moment that then will change your future past. All right, too much for today. Love you so much. I don't say see you tomorrow because I think that I'm going to be working on that baby, although I don't have paints yet. But let's find a day that works for all of us, and let's finally start this Ultimate Desire business. All right, love you so much.